Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is August 24th, 2022. 18 days to kickoff.
What?
Woohoo! That's, of course, week one, Sunday night football, 8:30 p.m.
Oh, I wish you should say like 18 days and then how many hours, because we're going to have to wait. I hate that part.
Yes, that is the week one kickoff day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is against the Dallas Cowboys at Dallas.
Oh, it's at Dallas.
Yes.
On Sunday Night Football.
On Sunday Night Football.
How much did Jerry Jones have to whine to get that one?
He's got the money.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some money, Jerry.
I know.
Pay everybody.
He has to get his money's worth for that giant, ridiculous stadium he just built.
Well, you know, they're all so expensive anymore. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars. Well, over $1 billion.
Don't the cities pay most of it? Like, I'm sure Dallas paid a lot.
I know
of
it
money.
was a thing, and then everybody started freaking out about it. So I'm sure it's still a thing. It's just covered up a little bit better now.
Yeah. They do it a little differently.
Well, you know, with Tampa, the Tampa Sports Authority owns Raymond James Stadium. The Glazers do not. They just lease it. They've actually got a very good sweetheart deal down there. So anyhow, we're not going to get into that, the politics of money and ownership.
And real estate.
Oh, man, we got a bunch to cover. We've got the last preseason game, week 2 against the Titans. We're going to talk a little bit about that, a little bit of fallout from that, what's happened. We'll talk about some news, some ifs, ands, or buts around the league and in the NFC South in particular. But first, before we go on, we got some fact checks and follow-ups. Dun, dun, dun. All right, follow-up. This was an interesting one. You know, me and Molly had questioned the head coach of the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. First time we had ever seen him was in the preseason week 1 game.
We watch a lot of football.
We watch a lot of football.
Mm-hmm.
And we see this guy walking around on the sideline, and Molly's like, who is that? Is that guy, we're like, he can't, there's no way he's the head coach.
I called him the intern.
The intern, yeah. You were like, is he an intern filling in for the head coach or something? Yeah, I had never heard of the dude or anything. And so, you know, I'm like, what is up with this guy? He does not look like a football player to begin with. He's very small, petite. I would say petite. And, you know, so I'm like, right off the bat, I'm like, I don't think this guy ever played football. So what's his story? How did he get the job? Well, looked it all up. Mike McDaniel, he started his coaching career in 2005 with the Broncos. So that was 17 years ago.
Okay, first of all, he does not look old enough to have been in the league for 17 years.
Wow, I'm glad you didn't ask me how old he is because I did not have that listed down. How old
That's
is
okay.
he?
I don't know, but I'm just saying he does not look, 17 years, he would have had to been be like 35 to have come in the league at like 18, right when he could, and start, you know, working on an NFL staff. So at the youngest, I mean, he looks young. I would not have said, I would have said like, he might be 35, 36.
That's what you would go with?
Yeah. Just by looks alone. He's very young looking.
Gosh, he is so young looking.
He does.
He's 39.
Okay.
39 and 171 days.
So basically, fresh out of college, he comes to the NFL.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And the interesting thing about it is most coaches, you know, they go through the process of becoming they start off low and then they get a position coach. You know, there'll be a wide receivers coach or a secondary coach or defensive line coach, and then they'll move up and eventually they get a coordinator position, you know, defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator.
Yeah, you climb the ladder. And
Right.
there's a very, I mean, we've seen guys do it in our coaching staff currently under BA because he loves to do this, is promote guys, but that's how they start. The assistants, like players like Larry Foote and others that wanted to come into the league. They Byron Leftwich at Arizona started as an assistant under BA and then worked up.
Yes. And it's generally, most coaches come from either the defensive or offensive coordinator position, which means they're totally in charge of the offense or defense, depending. And, every now and then you get special teams coordinator, but very rarely. Well, anyhow, Mike McDaniel he didn't really go through that ladder. He coached mainly under Mike and Kyle Shanahan through his whole career.
So the Shanahan coaching tree.
Yes.
Okay.
He was an assistant coach for the Texans, Redskins, Browns, Falcons, and 49ers. His first offensive coordinator position was last year.
And that's unusual too, like having been in the league for so long. Well, I don't know if it is unusual to not have made it that far up to coordinator.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. To get up. He was just an assistant, not a coordinator.
So was he a positions coach at all?
No, he was an assistant. I know.
That's weird. Okay,
for 16
so that's
years.
weird to not even have made it to a position coach.
Right. It's very strange. Let me see. He was an intern. That's where he started off. Then he was an offensive assistant with the Texans. And then he was the running backs coach for UFL, Sacramento Mountain Lions.
Okay, so but not an NFL team. He was a positions coach, but not an NFL team. So he hasn't spent 17 years in the NFL.
Well, he was a wide receivers coach for the Redskins and the Browns.
Okay.
Each a year piece there. But he was an offensive coordinator with the Texans for 3 years, offensive assistant with the Texans for 3 years, offensive assistant with the Redskins for 2 years, offensive assistant with the Falcons for 2 years, run game coordinator with the 49ers.
Okay, that's kind of an coordinator position.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Goodie and
running backs coach.
Byron Leftwich. That's what they do.
Yes. But he did not get his first coordinator position until last year, 2021, with the 49ers, after being the run game coordinator with them for 4 years.
Okay.
And then he goes from the 49ers last year, offensive coordinator, to the head coach of the Miami Dolphins this year. It's just like, that's a heck of a leap. It's a very strange coaching path to take. It's not
he spent so long kind of in the under positions, the assistant positions, not too long at the position coaches, but he was a position coach. And then to jump to offensive coordinator, I mean, he did kind of take the steps a little bit, but he didn't hang out long at the coordinator position.
Right. And I don't know, but did he do anything? I mean, I don't know.
Where was he last year? 49ers?
49ers. Yeah. Well, they did make it to the playoffs. And
they did? Mm-hmm.
Garoppolo with that horrible interception in the end zone. What was that mess?
Was so bad.
That was the Patrick Mahomes effect right there.
Yeah.
So it's a very strange coaching path to take. But I think here's why he's a head coach. I think a lot of people would agree with me on this. He's mixed race. Which you didn't know that looking at him.
No.
I had no idea. I mean, he looked like a tan nerd. Mm-hmm. But apparently, he gets to count towards the NFL's diversity quota or whatever is going on. Yes, he's biracial. His mother is Caucasian. His father is African American. In a February 2022 interview, he stated that there are family members from his mother's side that he does not know, as they chose to cut ties with his mother after marrying his father, and their disapproval due to his father's race. They, of course, have to throw that in there. But he has said that he's never experienced any form of racism. But it seems like, Miami, after the whole kerfuffle with their previous coach, blaming them, saying, hey, y'all are racist. Mm-hmm. They had to go out and find, but why didn't they get Bieniemy or any of these other people and pick up this guy who has no... he's got 1 year of offensive coordinator experience. That's just strange.
You would think that hiring somebody like Bieniemy, who's been on the radar of the NFL for years, and then there's been the question of why has he not gotten a head coaching job? That would have been the perfect
there's something there. With
hire there. I think they just wanted somebody low-key, non-controversial, that checked the boxes.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm going to do some more looking into it. Maybe see what type of relationship he has with the owners or
maybe
whatever.
he knows somebody.
Yeah, maybe he knew somebody and it's a favor, or maybe you never know. The guy might come out and totally change football. We don't know. It was just very strange seeing him on the sideline and going, "What?
Who is?" I know, because we watch a lot of football, and you do start recognizing the faces, and you expect head coaches to come from to be well-known coordinators.
Right. Yes.
I mean, there are a lot of well-known coordinators like Bieniemy, who for years they've gotten passed over. And
or Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich. And so it just kind of seems like they would be perfect fits. So why would you take somebody unknown without a lot of experience?
Right. But it does, when they list the diversity hires from last year, he's one of them. So I can't.
Okay.
It's like.
Well, I hope it works out for them. Our Florida teams.
Yeah, it's like the Washington Commanders. They got the diversity hire up there. I don't know. I don't get it.
Ew.
I don't get it.
Rivera?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's considered a diversity hire. Go figure.
He's been there 2 years, right? 3 years. God, they're a shit show.
I know. It's going to be great watching them implode this year. Couldn't happen to a better team. All right. Fact check follow-up. Number 2, follow-up. Cade Oten. That is not how you pronounce his name.
I heard that somewhere.
Tight end. Well,
so that's why I said it that way. Did I say it or you said it?
I'm sure I said it.
Yeah.
I was butchering names all week last week. And Cade Oten, I was like, I don't know. He, thanks to Rarely Even, one of our listeners, Buccaneers fan, pointed it out to us. Of course, he didn't tell us how to say it. He just said we said it wrong.
Phonetically, when you look at it, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Looks like Oten to me.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you speak the English language?
Me be smart. Cade Oten. It is actually spelled Cade Otten. Otten. That's how you pronounce it. So I'm calling him because as Molly pointed out to me to help me with my phonetics, my hooked on phonics.
All tricks.
She said, just say cotton. It's like cotton without the C. So now, and I like to give guys nicknames, he is now going to be known as Cade Cotton.
Well, if you were just doing his first initial and his last name, it would be Cotton.
Yep. Cade Cotton. Mr. Cotton Ball. And then we got another one we had to look up. Luke Goedeke. He is offensive lineman, right?
Yes.
Spelled Goedeke, but it's pronounced Goedeke. I was saying Luke Goedeke.
I had heard it like that.
Yes.
So,
well, with the Cade Cotton Ball man, we weren't sure how to say it. So finally, we ended up finding an interview with him, and he said it. He said, "Yeah, my name's Cade Otten." We were like, "Oh, well, there you go. Now we know."
I think he knows how to say his name.
I think we know how to say his name because we did. On the broadcast, they said Oten.
Yeah.
They said Cade Oten. And I was like, well, which one is it? And then we found that. Okay. You got follow-ups?
I do. We had talked about Mike Williams having an arraignment the same day as our last podcast. He did not show up. So another warrant has been issued for a failure to
Are
appear.
you serious?
So serious.
Guys, it's the worst thing you could do. I don't care what happens. Show up to court because you get that contempt of court charge, they can do whatever they want to you. The power is now in the judge's hands. And if he don't like you, he can send you to jail for years.
And once they do catch you, they're not letting you back out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't get bail for failure to appear and all that good stuff, man. They do not play around with that. Why would he not show up? Unless
my
sometimes
guess is that he's not a great decision maker.
Well, you mean quitting football to do a music career is not a good decision?
I don't,
Yeah, sometimes they'll let you off if you have a legitimate reason. Like if you could prove that you thought the court day was on another day or some family stuff come up or whatever. But man, they do not mess around with that stuff. The judges, that's their little kingdom there. And if you don't do what they say, and show up when they tell you to, that's worse than stabbing babies.
At a minimum, send your lawyer.
Right. Yes.
Hire a lawyer.
Which always hire a lawyer.
Yeah.
For anything. I don't care what it is. Never talk to the police. Always hire a lawyer.
That's right.
Do not try to do this crap yourself.
On
Brought to you by the Lawyers Association of America.
On another note where we talked about, this one was just awful, the Aqib Talib thing. So.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, the Aqib Talib's brother, another weird name, Akeem or some crap like that. He ended up shooting a coach at a youth football game, the opposing team's coach, on the field, right in front of the coach's kids. And Aqib Talib was there. So anyhow, go ahead with your story.
He's announced that he is going to step aside from broadcasting with Amazon. So we had talked about that. You just get this opportunity. It's the next phase of your career. So he did make that decision. You have to wonder if it came before the decision was not his.
Right. Yeah.
No. Amazon made that decision for him. Right. I don't know. But that's what's going on there.
God, man, I tell you, it just makes you want to cry almost. How do these people throw their lives away? And, I brought up players last time when we were talking about this. I started mentioning the players that really screwed up your life. But we got to remember, the NFL is the amount of trouble that NFL players get into is less than the general population. Mm-hmm. When you look at arrest records and all that good stuff for the general population per 100,000 or whatever, the NFL is quite low. It just, this stuff gets a spotlight on it, because they're celebrities. So, I'm not saying NFL players are horrible people, but you just got to wonder about, the decision making. Mm-hmm. And the NFL does a pretty good job, from what I understand, at getting these guys prepared for life, managing their money and keep them out of trouble. But sometimes some of these guys just, Aqib Talib was known to be a kind of a troublemaker. Mm-hmm. He did shoot himself, but he's also a very well-read. Almost all the interviews you talk to or you hear from players that used to play with him, they said he was always carrying books around, and he, read philosophy books and history books. So
he's a smart guy.
Yeah, very smart guy. He just doesn't make smart decisions, I guess. But when your brother, if you love your brother and they're troublemakers, I don't know.
You never had a brother.
Right.
I don't have a brother. Or I have a brother. I have a sister.
You have a brother.
I think it's that same-sex sibling thing, that kind of bond, which neither of us have.
Yeah, and they're about the same age, too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so they came up together and probably were best friends. Yeah,
so Aqib Talib's probably going to spend all the rest of his money on lawyers trying to help his brother. But there ain't going to be no help. There's no getting out of that. You keep him from getting a death sentence. Maybe that's it.
Right.
All right. That's been 20 minutes of fact checks and follow-ups. Let's get on to the podcast now. The Tennessee Titans. Buccaneers went to Tennessee and played them in a Week 2 preseason game. We did not play our starters except playoff Lenny. Leonard Fournette. He started off running back, and he did pretty good. Actually, he wasn't the only starter. Our center, Hainsey, started as well. Right?
Yes.
Yes. So, You know, we got our butts whooped. It didn't look pretty, if you ask me. But again, you know, like I said last time, Miami, not that great of a team, although they did end up beating us. It shouldn't have been that close. But this isn't about winning or losing. It's preseason. Nobody really cares. You're trying different stuff out. You're testing guys. You're wanting to see who can do what in what situations, blah, blah, blah. You know, looked to me like we just got beat up. You know, Tennessee's a very physical team. They are along the lines of the Baltimore Ravens. They believe in tackling and blocking first, everything else second. And it showed. You know, I mean, they're the type of guys that, you know, they don't arm tackle, they don't alligator twist you down. You know, they will, if you fall, they will shoulder you into the ground. They will come flying in from 10 yards just to lay a hit on you. You know, they're that type of team. They believe in, you know, hurting you, taking your breath away, which, you know, I like that. I'm a big fan of that style of play because of the endurance factor. You know, the Lombardi used one of my favorite quotes by him is "Fatigue makes cowards of us all," and it is so true. I mean, if you watch boxing or MMA, or if you've ever done anything with that exhaust you totally, you know, you're ready to quit. You just want to stop and go home and rest. Or sometimes not even go home. You want to just lay down right there. I've been in those situations before, and I'll tell you, there's nothing that'll make you want to quit like being totally exhausted. You know, I know a lot of people would be like, oh, you know, I just push right through it. Now, there is no push right through it. You have to be prepared before you go in to not get fatigued like that. You see it in boxing and MMA all the time. Me and Molly, when we watch it, I'll be like, oh, this guy's done. You can just tell by the way they're panting and, you know.
Dropping their hands.
Yeah, dropping their hands. That's a big sign. So, you know, Tennessee, they're a big conditioned team. They, you know, they believe in being well conditioned, just like Baltimore. And, you know, I think it showed out there on the field. We were not as prepared to be hit. I didn't think.
I felt like, whereas the first game, the receivers got a lot of attention, I felt like this was our running backs.
Yeah.
This was the game they were testing the running backs. And I'm going to look right now at the yardage as far as what we ran in the two games, because I suspect, you know, I just noticed a lot more. Like Rachaad White got a lot of touches. Keyshawn Vaughn was in there. Like you said, Leonard Fournette was in there. Yes,
we started off rushing Fournette. I think he got the ball 4 or 5 times to start the game. Let me see, we rushed 22 times. They rushed 33 times. Both of we rushed 22 times. We ran the ball 22 times. They ran the ball 33 times.
Okay.
But that includes their quarterback, who scrambled quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We both averaged 4.2 yards per rush, which is pretty good. Vaughn had the best average. He had 10 rushes for 54 yards. That gave him a 5.4 rushing average. His longest was 17. Fournette was second. He had 5 rushes for 20 yards. That's 4 yards per average. Still pretty good. And his long was 10.
You know, I'm totally full of crap because in Miami, when we played Miami, we rushed 31 times. So it just seemed to me like the running backs were getting a lot of attention.
It is weird how when you look at stats, it's like the totally opposite of what you saw during the game.
That's where they're useful.
Yeah. With their running backs, the Willis, their quarterback, he had the best. He had 5 attempts at 42 yards, so that was an 8.4 yard average and a long of 24. After that, they didn't average as much. They're about 3.3, 3.5. Woodside, he rushed 4 times for 10 yards, so 2.5 yards per. So we did a pretty good job stopping their run. The quarterback got Wiley with us a couple times.
Yeah, well, he's young still.
Yeah.
So give him about 5 years of getting hit on runs like those, and he's going to slow down like the rest of them do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's not going to last long. Never does. So, we did a pretty good job with the running game. Now, I think our defensive line did well. We were getting pressure. We were running the quarterback down. We did a good job of stopping the run, I thought. The quarterback did get away from us a couple times, but that's expected when you have a running quarterback. But other than that, I think the rest of the team did not look well.
No, I thought special teams was really not great.
God. Well, and we've been talking about this ever since Bruce Arians came here. Special teams has been pretty bad. Actually, it's before Bruce Arians, but since he's been here.
I think it's been since we've been doing a podcast.
It's been not necessarily the Achilles heel, because it's not horrible, but it's the least, it's the weakest link in our chain is our special teams, and it's the tackling and blocking. And that's what you can see with teams like Tennessee and Baltimore. They got much better return yards on average because they are much better tacklers and blockers. And in this game, our tackling was not good. To go back and watch, I should do a compilation of just tackles and see the difference in how Tennessee tackles and how we tackle. We just don't tackle hard. And that's when on special teams, that's all special teams is tackling and blocking. And we missed a lot of tackles and a lot of blocks.
Yeah, it was really bad. And so they got great field position consistently.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't, on a punts, we didn't have a single yard return.
Wow.
On punts. Let's see, they had a lot of chances on punts because we punted like 5 times.
No.
Yeah. And, they took advantage of that. Got good field position. It started off, Darden was our returner for kickoffs, and then they switched to
I think Rachaad White got some carries.
On the punts or kickoffs?
I don't know. I don't
Darden
differentiate
and Tompkins.
between the two.
Darden and Tompkins did both, but they did punts, and then you're right, White and Darden did kickoffs. So, yeah, they got 99 yards total in punt returns. We got 0.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a score.
That's a whole field.
Moving down the field. Exactly. Wow. That's embarrassing.
It is pretty embarrassing. Kyle Rudolph also started too. Didn't do a whole lot. I think he got 1 catch. Nothing spectacular there. I didn't really notice him in blocking either. And you pointed that out. You said the tight ends really didn't do a lot this game. And I wasn't really paying much attention to the sets. Even if we had multiple tight end sets out there or whatever, I was really focused on the offensive line in this game.
Me too.
Yeah. And I didn't pay much attention to tight ends at all, which you would think you'd be able to pay attention to tight ends if you were looking at the offensive line. But I would say that they weren't out there a whole lot. Rudolph was out there for 14 snaps. So that was a quarter of the time. O'Keefe was out there for 15 snaps, 27% of the time. Cotton was out there for 26 snaps. That was a half the time almost, 46%. And then Howland was out there for 8 snaps. So apparently the tight ends were out there. We just didn't notice them.
Yeah. Well, and then I thought the receivers, they had a great showing last game. This game, not so much. And I don't know. Tyler Johnson showed up again. Scotty Miller, I don't know what is going on with him, but he better get his act together because, he could be.
Yeah. He was wide open on that.
We've spent, 3 years drafting wide receivers, and he's just one of them. And I know, he had some great plays in the past couple of years in clutch situations, but.
Yeah, that Green Bay game right before half where he got the touchdown.
I mean, if you're not performing, they're going to upgrade you.
Yeah, and he's got guys nipping at his heels right now.
And guys that we've drafted after him.
Yes.
So it's like they've constantly been looking to upgrade that position. And, I mean, he better be careful. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make the team this year. I'll be honest with you.
I agree. I think he'd be good trade bait.
You think?
I've heard, I heard Pat McAfee on his show talking about he wanted to get Scotty Miller in Indianapolis.
Well, good. We can do that.
Linemen. I know, exactly.
We're playing them this Saturday at 7:30 at Indianapolis.
And Scotty was playing into the third quarter.
Right.
So to me, that was pretty telling.
Yes.
We'll see.
And he got quite a few opportunities. Didn't do a whole lot with them.
Yeah. And then there was Geiger, same thing. Stearns, two names that we had talked about in the last podcast did not show up this game. Now, I have the question, was it the receivers or was it Trask? Was Trask inaccurate? I don't know. I mean, it could be. Depending on how much pressure he was getting, or maybe he had an off game. But I just thought the offense as a whole did not look great, and that receiving core was sus.
Yes. Yeah, and offensive line didn't look too good. We started off with Stinnie at the right guard spot for the first half, and then we moved into the left guard spot for the second half, and then he ended up getting hurt. And he is out. He got hurt in the third quarter. He's out for the season. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But I was talking about 74 Johnson that we got from the Bengals. He was playing right tackle against the Dolphins. He did a really good job. Against the Titans, not so much. And it wasn't, he had great technique and he was getting his hands on guys, but I don't know if he doesn't have the strength or something. I don't know, whatever, but they were just kind of getting right around him. Mm-hmm. And ended up
slow, maybe?
No, I mean, there was one, he had the guy in perfect position, and the guy was leaned into him, cutting the corner, and it seems like Johnson could have either just, flipped him onto the ground or, shoved him. I mean, he had great technique, great position and everything, but it was almost like he just kind of forgot to stop the guy from going to the quarterback. And he just kind of went like a carousel right with the guy. It was very strange. So I don't know what that was all about, but he'll be a good backup. Let's put it that way. He'll get the job done if needed, maybe. But I wasn't impressed with, the offensive line, the wide receivers, the quarterback play, the linebackers, the secondary, which reminded Jamel Dean and Edwards started in this game. Now, Jamel Dean is right now is listed as Jamel. It's listed as the second string cornerback. So that's really no shocker that he was out there, but Edwards is our starting safety. He was out there starting this game. So, but I just wasn't impressed with anybody, really. Now, Logan Hall, our number one draft pick, second round draft pick, actually. Our first draft pick in second round. He started, well, he was out there and he got 20 snaps, which was about 30% of the playing time. And I noticed they kept bringing him in and taking him out, bringing him in and taking him out. So he pretty much played all game, but nothing really consistent, which, that's a Todd Bowles defense. He's always switching the line constantly, And so Logan Hall played 20 snaps and he got one tackle. The guy has just not impressed me so far, the two games that I saw. And I always look for him out there, and when he's out there, I keep an eye on him, and I just haven't seen anything. I'm not ready to give up on the guy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just kind of like, I don't know what they saw in the guy.
Yeah. It's an adjustment coming to the NFL, that speed.
Yeah. And the strength. I mean, he's playing against the big boys, and he ended up on the ground quite a few times. So, maybe when the regular season rolls around, he'll be have some more oomph. And it might take, till mid-season. It's kind of like how it was with Vito when he first came. But, Vito was dominating guys. He just wasn't paying attention to where the ball was headed.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need Logan, do we? Like, we're set. Is he a starter?
Pretty sure. Oh, what? Akeem Hicks is probably going to start.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He might have a little bit of time to develop.
Yes. Which would be good. I think he needs it.
I agree.
But the defensive line overall, I thought did a pretty good job. They got good pressure, and they were in the backfield quite a bit. They did a good job stopping the run. The one who impressed me the most was, what's his name? Steve, number 95.
Oh, Sunat. Oh, that's
Sunat.
No, you say his name Sunat.
Sunat? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Man.
So I found the pronunciation guide for the Bucs. So this is where all this is coming from. So, Sunat.
How in the world do you spell it Senat and then pronounce it Sunat? Come on. What was that skit about the girl's name? I'm going to say it was Brian Regan. She's like, my name is Caron or something. Anyhow. Yeah, he did pretty good. He had about the same amount of snaps as Logan Hall did, but he got 5 tackles.
He's a big boy.
And a half a sack.
He looks like an offensive lineman to me.
He looks kind of like Vita.
He got that big old belly. He's just a thick boy. He's a big boy.
Yes. And then Fatou Kassi.
Oh, okay.
How do you pronounce that? I was throwing that at you.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Fatou Kassi. Yeah, he had the best stats. He had 9 tackles and 1.5 sacks.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
What's he, a linebacker?
I would assume he's an offensive lineman. We should know this.
Lineman.
I mean, defensive lineman. If he's an offensive lineman getting 9 sacks and 9 tackles, we got problems. Best tackling offensive lineman in the league right there. So he's a linebacker. You were right.
Okay, let's try that.
He played 82% of the snaps, 54 snaps. So there you go.
Okay, we got some room in there, so he could get that 5th spot.
J.J. Russell, who I talked about last week, linebacker, he played 65% of the snaps, 43 of them. And his stat line was pretty much about the same as it was last week. He got 0 tackles. Is that right?
Can't be doing that.
That can't be right. No. I'm sorry. He got 7.
Okay.
I was making myself sound like a very good prognosticator there. I was like, he's got to get anything.
Nothing.
So he did all right stats-wise. Don't remember seeing him a whole lot, though.
No, I feel like no one made a splash. I don't remember anyone having any kind of impact. I think Tyler Johnson had like a great catch where I was like, oh, that's a good one. In coverage, but other than that.
Yeah. White did do pretty good on the kickoff returns.
Okay.
He did all right.
I kind of like him running too.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
He could be fun this year.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Titans scored 2 field goals on us, and then they ended up getting a touchdown in the second quarter with like 26 seconds left of the half. So they were up 13-0. But then we came back and scored 3 unanswered points in the second half. Stinnie got hurt. He's been fighting for the starting guard position. And like I said,
and I think they were close to naming him as the starter.
I think so too. I liked him. I mean, when he filled in last year for Kappa, he did a great job.
Yeah.
And the year before. So he's gone for the season, ended up tearing ACL, MCL, all that good stuff. And it looked to me like Vaughn ran into the back of him and, kind of collapsed him there.
Who hit Ryan Jensen? Was it Vaughn?
No, that was Logan Hall.
Logan Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Push Stinnie into.
No, that was Stinnie
Ryan
that
Jensen.
pushed Logan Hall into
Okay.
Ryan Jensen.
I thought Vaughn was involved in that kerfuffle too. So
You just
we need to keep him away from our offensive lineman. Yeah, that was a bummer with Stinnie. Because you're like, you want to see him succeed.
Yeah.
And he was doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people would make the argument like, oh, he shouldn't have been out there that long.
Who, Stinnie?
Yeah.
Well, it was very strange that we started him off on the right side, and then for the full first half, and then the second half when they came out, they had him on the left side. So I think, I don't know. I don't know if we were trying to see what side he would play better on, or if...
Yeah. I think just getting him the reps, like
Yeah.
getting him game ready to be out there that first week.
Well, we got him game ready now. He's out for the season.
Yeah.
So that's sad. 37 Gardner, one of our, what is he, a cornerback or safety?
I don't know.
He got a good interception at the end of the game. Deep ball.
He's 36. Don Gardner.
36?
And he is a safety.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry. He's a corner.
Well, then I hope I wrote down. Was he the one that got the interception?
I don't think Kyler McMichael. He's 37.
Okay, so it was McMichael?
Let me look.
This is horrible.
Well, I feel like they said Gardner on the broadcast. Okay, neither one of. Or hold on a second. It says we have no interceptions.
We got one.
Oh, that's the Dolphins game. Sorry. Wrong game. I had it pulled up here.
But anyhow, that was at the Jay Darden? No. Okay, D. Gardner. Yeah.
He got the interception?
Yes, at 15 minutes, start the fourth quarter. So anyhow, that was a good play. But like you said, there just wasn't a whole lot of them. This game was kind of a wash. I think what I saw from it was we are not prepared to play teams that are tough. And it's the Rams and the Saints. So one of the reasons why we have a hard time with those guys, besides the fact that the refs are part of their team, is they punch us in the mouth. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Saints get out there and they fight with us, especially our wide receivers. And, it's just, I'm not saying we're a soft team, but we don't focus on toughness. And that's one of the reasons why I hate that Jensen's gone, because he's one of the toughest players we have. And, I hate our tackling techniques. And Bowles talked this year when he got the job as a head coach that tackling is something they need to work on. And I was like, yes, thank God. I'm not seeing it. In these 2 preseason games, I'm not seeing it. I'm still seeing soft tackling.
Well, I think you need to consider that these are 3rd and 4th string guys. I mean, we are not seeing any of our starters, with the exception of
That's
Edwards, Jamel Dean,
But I'd like to see, these guys are fighting for a job, and you would think that they would be out there, just decleating people.
I mean, you would think so, but I also think that they get a little over eager and they don't have the best technique. There's a reason they're fighting for jobs.
True enough. Okay, so
I think, I'm not worried. I will just say our depth is not that strong at this point, but we haven't seen any of our starters, so we really have no idea.
Yeah. I just like to see us to be a little bit more physical. Mm-hmm. Both
right, but
blocking and tackling.
I feel like all of our really tough guys, really good tacklers, really physical guys, they're all the starters. You know, it's like Vita Akeem Hicks, who we haven't seen. I don't know what he's like, but I get the impression that that's kind of his shtick. I mean, the rest of the defense, I think are more physical.
Yes, and
players.
My point was that it doesn't seem like it's a point of emphasis. You know, when we got to second, third, fourth string guys out there, and they're not trying to be physical. If you watch the Titans, their second, third string, fourth guys were out there trying to take heads off because they know that's what their coach wants to see. That's the most important thing with them. We're more technical. You know, we're more clipboard carrying coaches. Yeah,
and I would say our depth kind of looked more. They were sloppy. They're sloppy.
Yeah. So, no commentary on Trask. You know, I felt like he was a little under pressure, but also he was hesitant at times. He did way too much. Like he was going to throw the ball and then he would pull it back and then he'd get clobbered. He needs to get that ball out of there. Take it from Brady, man. Get that ball out.
And a couple of times, and this seems to keep happening with him, and so I don't know if he's got a long wind up, but where he holds the ball like he's going to throw it and then it gets knocked out and he's fumbling. I don't know what that's about. Like, don't put the ball up there unless you're going to throw it.
Right. Yeah, good point. You should send him a letter.
I know. I will.
Or what the kids do nowadays, slide it in his DM.
Send him a letter.
Does anybody write letters anymore?
No.
All right, well, enough for that game. We've got the Indianapolis Colts coming up Saturday, another tough team, another physical team, probably one of the best offensive lines in the league. We probably won't be playing them. I do not know what they're going to be starting, but we are supposedly going to be starting some of our starters. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Donovan Smith, Shaq Mason. We'll see. This is what I have that they're going to start this Saturday.
I think that's a good idea.
Tom Brady.
I think at a certain point you have to get them.
Just get them out there and get a few hits in.
Some game
take them off
speed.
the field. Yeah.
So, but Brady, there's no replacement.
Brady
that.
Definitely needs to get out there and throw some passes. Just, I mean, you could say he's the best ever. He's been in the league for 300 years. But there's nothing like getting a hit. Welcome to the football season. We will be missing some people though that are out for the season. Like we said, guard Aaron Stinnie is out. They put him on injured reserve. If you get put on injured reserve at this point in the year, you are out for the year. They got all kinds of new injured reserve rules. It's one of the reasons why we're waiting to put Ryan Jensen on injured reserve. We're not going to do it until right before the start of the season because then we can bring him back, later in the season, which is a good sign. Which, that's the coach is saying that hey, he's not going to be out for the whole season. Outside linebacker Cam Gill placed on injured reserve, so he's out for the season.
And he had surgery like the day after.
Yeah,
that game. So
apparently quite serious. And that sucks. It surprises me. I was really excited for him this year.
The same thing happened last season.
Yeah, but there you go. Injury, like Quan Alexander. They could have all the skill in the world, but if you can't stay on the field, you have no value. So we went out and signed Carl Nassib. So we get to go do firsthand gay stats this year.
Oh my gosh. And we're going to hear it that's the issue. We don't care about having a gay player on the team. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's just every week, every time they're on, it's like the announcer's got to throw it in there. They're going to do pre-games. It's just, come on. Can we just play football?
That's why we do the gay stats to highlight it, the absurdity. Being gay, that's so, 2000s. Yeah. It's now, you got to be transgender. We need a transgender football player, female to male. We'll do that. That'll be the next new thing.
The next thing.
Yeah.
Carl, he played in this game, and there were a couple times Malik Willis got away from him, he should have been playing containment, and Malik kind of got around him. But we know what Carl Nassib has. I think it's just getting back into that speed with the team, and
hope so. Don't know what he lost, and we'll see. But he's back up. I mean, he'll get his snaps.
Rotational.
Yeah, he'll get his snaps.
Well, and when he left the team, we wanted to keep him. I mean, he was good, a solid rotational guy, and it was he was drawing some money from the Raiders, so can't beat that. We couldn't pay him. They could, so. But glad to have him back. Get some consistency there and some veteran player.
So Stinnie's out, and we got Nick Leverett, and then rookie Luke Goedeke.
Yeah, which it surprises me. Luke Goedeke is starting. I know, it's okay.
I got the key part right.
I know. Luke is taking snaps with the ones this week in practice, apparently, which surprises me because Nick Leverett has been there for a few years at this point, 1 or 2 years. So he's the more experienced player, but Goedeke we just drafted this year, so but they appear to like him, and it looks like he might be the guy. We'll see.
Wow. So strong safety Keanu Neal, he's out for the rest of the preseason with an arm injury. We will not see him against the Colts. We have not even looked at getting more offensive line help, from what I understand.
Which surprises me.
It does surprise me too. Seems like we're happy with what we got, so that's why we drafted Luke Goedeke.
Yeah.
We did waive tight end Bug Howard, so he cleared waivers, from what I understand, and that puts us up under 80. So we made the roster
we had
cuts.
some other moves too. So I don't remember if we talked about this in the last one. We had released Ross Cockrell, quarterback.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Surprising. We also waived tight end Ben Beast, tackle Curtis Blackwell, and wide receiver Cameron Brown. And then we waived, he was injured, outside line with an injury designation, outside linebacker Jojo Ozugwu and tackle Jonathan Hubbard. And then we ended up reaching an injury settlement with Ozugwu. And we also released wide receiver Vincent Smith and waived safety Troy Warner. So that, I think, with the injured reserve moves, and then waiving Bug Howard, that put us under the 80 that we had to be at. So we had to get to 80 by August 23rd. So the next cuts will be down to the 53-man roster on August 30th. So next Tuesday.
Yeah, right after the games, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a tough one.
And then we'll probably get our depth charts too.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a lot of guys on the practice squad that we want to keep. But we can't fill it up with guys we want to keep. You have to keep certain positions, even if you don't want them. You got to have some backups there for certain spots. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield has been announced by the Panthers as their Week 1 starting quarterback. Beat out Sam Darnold. The Darnold.
I'm not surprised. I think
at all.
I know. Like Baker, he's got more starting experience. He's been in the league longer. He's had more success than Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, he's just not a good quarterback.
Yeah. So it just made sense to me.
And they ended up placing the rookie that they just drafted, Matt Corral, on season-ending injured reserve for Liv Frank's surgery.
Who?
Duke Dawson, their cornerback, also placed on injured reserve. So That's 2 players they got out for the season. So it's not just us Bucks. It's happening all over the league.
Yeah. Oh, another injury we didn't talk about was Tristan Wirfs' oblique. He strained an oblique in practice with the Titans. And so they think he's going to be ready for week 1, but he's nursing that injury. So
Yeah, he'll be fine.
I think so too.
Yeah. Former Bucks tight end, Tanner Hudson. You remember him?
Yes.
Man, I had so much hope for him. He had such a beautiful preseason. God, what was it, 2019, I think? He was signed by the 49ers. They waived him. So, don't know where he's at now or if he's going to get picked up anywhere. Probably not.
I think he suffered from a little lack of oomph. Not enough effort at times.
It is strange how, these players, the NFL is just apparently such a huge jump, because most of these guys have been playing football their whole lives. They've been stars everywhere they've gone, all the way through Pee Wee football and high school and college. And then they hit the NFL, and there's just something there that really weeds people out. Mm-hmm. But then you got guys who are undrafted rookies or free agents, that are basically walk-ons in college and stuff like that, and they end up being superstars. You just never know. You never know. There's no vetting process that works.
Mm-mm.
That's what I love
Absolutely
about football.
No. I know. Anybody can make it.
Yeah. Any size, shape. You can be fat, slow, tall, short.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique sport, man. Love it.
Did you say Keanu Neal is going to miss the preseason?
Yeah.
He's missing the full season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So Keanu Neal, Stinnie,
That's per the Bucks wire. So let me.
and Cam Gill.
But we didn't put him on IR.
Oh, they're just saying that's their estimation.
He will reportedly miss the remainder
Okay.
of this.
Well, we know he's out for the preseason, if nothing else.
Oh, no. See, no. I got to correct my other people are saying the preseason. So that was fake news, guys.
Fake news
I
from Molly.
apologize. Fake news from
We're going to
Molly.
get censored. Yeah, we're
Okay.
we know preseason he's out. Minimal.
Okay. At
Yeah,
least for certain.
we'll say that.
Preseason. Did you know that Bruce Arians is going in the Ring of Honor on October 2nd?
Wow, no, I did not.
I know.
He's still working there. That's weird.
So Greg Allman tweeted that he thought he heard Rondé say that on the broadcast. And then others came and he confirmed it.
Wow.
I don't know if they had announced it. I know
Man.
it seems weird to me.
It's very weird. There's not even a cooling off period.
I know. He's still...
He's still working in the front office. That's weird. But hey, I will say this, and this is nothing against Todd Bowles. Nothing against Todd Bowles. Though I will say, not as excited about him as I was about Bruce Arians. God bless it. I miss Bruce Arians' press conferences. Mm-hmm. Todd Bowles puts me to sleep.
He's boring.
Oh my gosh. And he doesn't say anything. He doesn't coach speak
The
stuff.
coach speak, yeah.
Oh,
I think it's a gift to have a good press conference. Like you're either Bruce, I feel like Bruce Arians is up there. I even feel like Bill Belichick is up there because I love, he would give them information if they asked. If they asked him about what's your game,
you got to ask him the right question.
You got to ask him the right question.
Then you can't
and
shut
he just
him up.
has the right amount of contempt for these people that they deserve, and he shows it. So I would put him, his press conferences, it's entertaining, especially when they're asking about nonsense.
Yeah, I guess entertaining is an aspect that is definitely good to have as a head coach. But to me, it's information. I always felt like the head coach's job during a press conference is to talk to the fans. It's the only opportunity you get to talk to the fans. Now they've got, you got podcasts and shows and stuff they can go on and, kind of be more expressive. But the press conference to me is only fans, and generally only hardcore fans, listen to the press conference, So you're talking not necessarily to the journalists there, but to the fans. That's how I always felt. If you really want to get stuff to the fans, that's when you do it. And, we've had some great coaches that were able to do that. And we've had some really bad ones. Lovie Smith, horrible. I wasn't a big fan of Cutter.
No.
His press conferences very blah and didn't give a lot of information. But Bruce Arians, man, he told it how it was, and he would say stuff, and I would write notes. I'd be like, oh, he, and I'd be like, oh, he said this during that play, and I'd go back and look at it and be like, oh, yeah, he was right, that did happen, and that was great stuff. It was just really high level. Man, I watch Todd Bowles now. They're 4 minutes. I don't think there's been one over 5 minutes yet, and it's just coach speak. He gets the question, and he goes, yeah, well, we're just going to go out there and try and, play hard and do the right things, score more points than other team. It's like every question, and you're like, oh, man. There's no pizzazz, and there's really no information there at all. Shiano was very good about that. Mm-hmm. And Shiano had some of the best press conferences I've ever seen, where they'd ask him a question, and he would break it down, man. I mean, he would talk to it like he was talking to a coach's conference.
Mm-hmm. It was so weird when they went after him and said how hostile he was to the press and stuff. And even Bucs fans, like I got into fights on Reddit with people that would say that. And I'm like, do you watch the press conferences? Because that didn't happen. That's
extremely cordial and informative.
It was weird.
Yeah. Very strange. And then, we've just had a long line of back and forth coaches of, some that were good press conferences, some bad press conferences, blah, blah, blah. But this one here, I wish they'd inject him with cocaine or something before he got on stage.
Give him some pep.
There's nothing there. I do not look forward to listening to his press conferences, to put it that way. And I hate saying it,
Yeah.
Because I of course, I want him to do awesome. Win us another Super Bowl.
Well, he could do that with crappy press conferences.
This is true. It has absolutely nothing to do with
the press
whether we're going to win or lose.
Well, and I think that's how they treat it. Like, I think a lot of coaches just hate having to do these press conferences.
They do. They act like they do not want to be there.
Yeah. Because they get in it to coach football, not to go talk to a bunch of non-football people.
Right. Asking some of the most insane questions.
Silly questions.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Oh, okay. Last thing I want to talk about, this conspiracy with Tom Brady's absence. That he was on The Masked Singer. That's the theory.
Right. In case you're not aware, Tom Brady he disappeared for 10 days.
Nobody saw him. Right
in the middle of preseason. Todd Bowles announced it, I think, the day he disappeared.
Yeah, people are like, hey, where's Brady?
He's like,
yeah, he's on an absence.
Yeah, personal matter.
Yeah.
And he'll be back after the Tennessee game, they said.
Yeah.
And nobody knew exactly the date or anything. It was very strange. Very, very strange.
They were so coy about it, which I do find incredible that they could keep that secret. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
They all were fit. And maybe if B.A. had been up there, he would have spilled the beans because he does like to talk and say too much. So maybe, it was good for Tom that it was Todd Bowles giving these press conferences.
Yeah, Todd Bowles is not going to accidentally say too much.
I know.
But there's one thing about the Buccaneers, the Glazers, they are very, very good at keeping secrets, man. I mean, getting Tom Brady won.
Yeah.
But, when they bought the Manchester United, it was basically a hostile takeover. That was amazing business acumen. It was incredible. Nobody saw it coming. They had all these little companies set up and buying shares, and then bam. It was really, it'll be taught in business schools. Probably already is, but they're very, very keep everything close to the vest and secretive. So, who knows what Tom Brady was doing? He could have gone to the moon on one of Elon Musk's starships for all we know. We won't find out until they are ready to let us know.
Well, or until the end of the Masked Singer season.
All right, what do you think?
Not that.
In case y'all aren't aware, there was a rumor going around that Tom Brady was a contestant on The Masked Singer. That's why he disappeared.
They lined up the dates with the filming. They got the filming schedule of The Masked Singer, and they were like, it started on August 10th. Yeah. That is the first day. Brady was gone. And then he would have had to film for this many days. If he made it to the finale, he'd have to do another day, which is probably why Todd Bowles was like, we don't know for sure. We just know it'll be after the Tennessee game. I mean, it was brilliant. I love the theory. The sports writers have been on this and are saying it's unequivocally not true.
Of course, they're going to say that because they didn't come up with it. If it would have been one of them, they'd all be like, yeah, definitely.
I know.
Anonymous source said.
Yeah. Greg Allman reached out to him. They hadn't responded to him. Ian Rappaport is saying it was a vacation to the Bahamas that he had promised, and they were at this very exclusive resort. And when he retired, he promised Giselle he was going to do it and couldn't, back out. So when he unretired, he had told them, here's the deal. And so it was, his absence was in pursuit of a better work-life balance. So, which I hate that story. I want it to be The Masked Singer. I didn't even watch the show. I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
Please. Gronk was on it.
Yeah, he was a white tiger apparently or something. I don't know. I know nothing about it. What do you think? Wow. Do you think that his absence was Bahamas, something else, or The Masked Singer? So you think it was Bahamas?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the simplest explanation.
You're going with Occam's razor, huh?
Yeah, and I just think us women, knowing us women, love to plan this kind of crap.
Yeah. 100%.
The day that he retired, Giselle was planning this vacation. Hands down. It's been 20 some years he's been in the league. She has not been able to do this trip at this time of year. And she was on the phone with her family, whoever. They were planning this. She bought those tickets that day.
Wasn't his son's birthday in that time period too?
I think so. Yeah.
So he's never spent his son's birthday on vacation with him. So, yeah.
Right. So I just think, and then when he was like, I'm going to unretire, she's like, are you kidding me?
Well, you know what you are going to do, she said.
Yeah.
You can unretire all day long. But
we booked these tickets. It is non-refundable. You better tell them you were going to be there. I don't care that it's the middle of training camp.
Non-refundable, like they don't have enough money.
I know.
They could swallow $20,000.
They probably dropped $100,000-$200,000 on this vacation.
That's still nothing for them.
I know.
It's a percentage of
right.
a percentage of a percentage.
Well, okay.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, I was leaning towards the theory of The Masked Singer until I think it was today or yesterday. The Masked Singer put out a promo for the upcoming season, and they alluded to Tom Brady on there.
How? Yeah. Okay.
It was heavily alluded.
Huh.
It was they said, let me see, Masked Singer One of the judges, Ken Jeong, I have no idea who these people are.
He was the one from Community.
Okay. He was guessing the identity of a contestant on this clip, and he said Peyton Manning, and they told him his guess was incorrect. And then he goes on to present a case for why he thought it could be Brady. And he said, or I think this could be the greatest of all time. He says this in the clip. He just got fined for not showing up to training camp because he is here on The Masked Singer. This is 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady. Tom, welcome to The Masked Singer. And then it stops.
So
yeah, I was like, no, that's definitely they're capitalizing on the whole.
But
rumor.
that theory was leveled like last Friday. Today's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Did The Masked Singer have that much time to put together that marketing material?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. So we both agree that it was not The Masked Singer.
Yeah, I don't think so. I love the theory, though. I think it's hilarious, and I hope it's true. But
I don't know, man. What would the rest of the team feel like if, you're like, you get to take off practice and go be on TV?
It's a business. I mean, if he agreed to be on the show, it's a contract.
I know, but still. Logically, it makes sense, but we're not logical people.
Yeah, but I mean, he's Tom Brady. I just don't. What can you say?
All right. So anyhow, Tom Brady is back at practice, by the way. He came back Monday. And hopefully we'll see him get a few snaps in preseason. I'd like to see a series at least,
Agree.
Just see what they got out there. Throw the ball around. I mean, we know what we got.
Starting offensive line out there, please, Jesus.
Oh, God, yeah. I'd like to see Julio out there or Russell Gage.
I agree. Just a quick thing on Julio. He was signing an autograph for a fan, and he told the fan he doesn't have a number yet. So that number 85 is temporary. I'm wondering if he's negotiating.
Well, he's not a number-dependent guy. A lot of these guys have their numbers that they live and die with. But he had, number 11 at Atlanta, and then he went to Tennessee, and he took number 2. Didn't care. He doesn't seem to give a crap about his number.
Maybe he's waiting for everybody to get cut to see what's left. One that he won't have to pay for.
Could be. But like I said, I don't think he has a number that he cares about. Don't know. We'll see. It's interesting.
Apparently it's not 85.
Huh.
That's
Yeah.
what
85.
he is currently.
Well, I want to see him out there. I don't care what number it's in.
I agree. I'm with you.
All right. That's about it for me. You done?
I'm done.
All right, guys. A few more days. Football starts. Me and Molly might end up missing the game because we're going to be in the process of moving.
It's never happened before.
Never happened before. It'll be the first time in 20-some years that I've missed. I'm still going to try to watch it if I have to watch it on my phone or whatever. But
our internet is not going to be hooked up until Monday.
Internet's not going to be hooked up. We're going to be in the process of moving, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to suck. Either way, watching it on a phone, squinting.
That's true.
Yeah.
You'll figure something out. I have complete confidence in you.
There's no way I'm going to let this happen.
I know you.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Till next time.
Go Bucks.